Good morning. Called to order this meeting of the Fremont County Board of County Commissioners. We begin this morning with our invocation from Joe Garkovich from Mercy Today Ministries, followed by our Pledge of Allegiance. Please rise.
Let us pray. Lord God, we thank you for this day, another day in which to serve you. As this group of dedicated individuals gathers this morning to do this important work, we pray that you would grant them courage and compassion and wisdom to make the best decisions for all the residents of Fremont County. We'd also like to lift up in prayer all of our county employees this day and in the coming days. Watch over them and guide them as they go about their duties and their important work. And we also pray this day for faith and trust in you. With all the crazy things that are going on in this world, help us to be reminded that you are in control and that we need to trust in you. All these prayers we send to you in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Joe.
Joe, thank you.
Thanks, Joe.
Roll call.
Commissioner Grantham,
Here.
Commissioner Bell,
Present.
Commissioner McFall,
Present.
County Attorney Bellis,
Present.
County Administrator Croce,
Present.
Planning and Zoning Director Victoria.
Present.
Approval of the agenda.
Mr. Chair, I am not aware of any changes to make to today's agenda, so I move to approve as presented.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Bell,
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham,
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. I have our typical business there with the bills and minutes and no public meetings to be scheduled.
Mr. Chair, with that, I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner McFall,
Aye.
Commissioner Bell,
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Motion carried.
The next item on the agenda is our administrative and informational portion of our meeting. We begin with updates from our staff and elected officials, and we begin this morning with our sales and use tax report from our budget and finance officer, Mr. Sean Sutton. Sean.
Good morning.
Morning, all.
Morning, sir.
Good morning.
Before I get started, I think this is the last BOCC meeting before the 4th of July. You saw my festive socks this morning. So
Indeed, I did.
just wanted to wish everybody a happy and safe 4th of July. So,
Thank you, sir.
Yep.
You too.
to get started, start with the retail sales tax for general fund. This is an April report for 2025, which totaled $800,100 and let me start over. $800,171, which was $5,403 less than 2024. Year to date, we sit at $2,823,220, and this is $98,680, $860 less than 2024. Struggling a little this morning, apologize. But we do remain ahead of budget by $23,220. So overall, a decent month in retail sales tax collections. The next report is the auto use sales tax. This is for May 2025. Again, general fund totaled $116,599. This is $4,331 less than 2024. Total to date, we sit at $586,484, which is $16,548 less than 2024, but ahead of budget by $55,234. The next report is our lodging. As I reported last month, the state did have some problems with their reporting system. So this is a makeup collection for the quarterly for April 2025, and that number totaled $49,565. Obviously, an increase from last year by $49,290. Overall, the lodging fund sits at $60,059, which is $5,819 ahead of 2024, but they do remain behind budget by $53,274. No overall concerns, as we have 2 large collection months in June and September coming, so that's their 2 largest quarterly collections. So if you kind of look at 2024, where they ended up, I think they're relatively on track for the year. Sheriff retail sales tax collection. This was again for April 2025, totaled $533,447. This is $3,602 less than 2024. Year-to-date collections for the sheriff total $1,882,146. This is $65,907 less than 2024. And Sheriff Department does remain behind budget by $101,187. If we break this out per month, if as long as we're collecting budget-wise about $495,000 a month, that would be break even. So obviously those last 2 months we've kind of made up on the budget. And as we talk about throughout the year, typically the warmer months, we bring additional revenue in. So not overly concerned that they remain a little bit behind budget as well. Sheriff Department auto use sales tax collection. This is for May 2025, totaled $77,733. This is $2,887 less than 2024. Total collections sit at $390,990. This is $11,032 less than 2024, but Sheriff Department does remain ahead of budget on this line item by $43,073. So overall, pretty good numbers to report this month. We'll continue to monitor these throughout the summer and make any recommendations or changes as needed.
Okay.
Any questions
Thank you,
or
Sean.
concerns?
Any questions or comments?
No, thank you, Sean.
No, it's actually a better report than I expected this month, so good job, thank you.
Thank you.
And it's a broken record, you know, about this time every year where this is typical, when we see those parentheses around these numbers, because those averages are a breakout of last year's divided by 12, and it doesn't take into account the ups and downs through the year or the big months in the summer.
Correct.
For our retail sales tax collection. So the very fact that the very top sheet shows us actually ahead of budget, it's kind of encouraging.
Good stuff, yeah.
Considering that we haven't even had the big months yet. And so, good reports. But we are going to, as Sean said, going to continue to watch these things closely for what we're seeing across the state as well. For those that pay attention to such things, the June forecasts on the state side were rather dismal. And so it's good to see where we're at locally when it comes to such numbers. So thank you, Sean.
Yeah. Conservative budgeting,
There you
always a
go.
good thing.
Thank you so
And-
much.
And to that point, thank you for bringing that up, actually, because on that very first sheet that shows us ahead, it shows us behind for the first 4 months by nearly $100,000 for last year's collections. But the fact that we're actually ahead of budget before we even get to the good months is indicative of our conservative budget versus what we really expect. So we conservatively estimate revenue as much as possible.
Well said. I agree.
So, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Now we move on to our county administrator report. Our county administrator, Tony Carochi.
Morning, Mr. Chair. Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
So we'll start with the job opportunities that we have posted in the county. At our Department of Human Services, we have a social caseworker. That would be an adult protective services caseworker. That position closes June 30th. In our facilities department, we have a custodial job opening. That closes June 25th. And then with our Fremont County Sheriff's Office, we have a patrol deputy posting that closes July 9th. So for more information about employment opportunities with Fremont County, please visit our county website at fremontcountyco.gov or call our HR department at 719-276-7409. Fremont County Department of Public Health, just a continued reminder that the Vital Records Department of Public Health is still operating with limited hours at our Garden Park building, which is across the street. Monday through Thursday, they're open Monday through Thursday from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. Service options regarding who and how to access vital records during hours when the Vital Records office is not open are posted on the Fremont County Public Health and our Fremont County government website. You can also contact the Pueblo Department of Public Health and Environment, their Vital Records Department, or the Chaffee County Vital Records Department. Just a reminder that Fremont County Department of Transportation has closed one lane of County Road 12 at mile marker 2, which is north of Cotopaxi School. Closure is due to shoulder erosion. We do not have an estimated time of completion. The lane will be reopened once repairs have been completed. Stoplights and cones and signage are in place for the duration. Please slow down through the work zone and share with anyone who may need this information. Temporary closure and relocation of the Fremont County Assessor's Office. The Fremont County Assessor's Office will be closed beginning tomorrow, June 25th, through July 7th, to accommodate the relocation of their office space from the administration building to the Garden Park building, which is, again, located directly across the street. This move is necessary to facilitate the removal of asbestos and a comprehensive remodel of the current office space. Upon commencement of construction, the project is projected to take approximately 3 months to complete. During this temporary relocation, public access to the assessor staff and records will be limited. Members of the public may continue to contact the assessor's office Monday through Thursday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. By the following means. You can call the assessor's assessor's office main line at 719-276-7310, or you can go to the Fremont County website at fremontcountyco.gov, and you can visit the assessor's website and click on Public Record Search. We appreciate your patience and understanding during this transition and are committed to maintaining service continuity to the extent possible. Finally, I would like to say thanks to our current Pathfinder Director, Jeremy McNeely, who is leaving us after this week. He's been here for about 2.5 years. He's taking a position with the state of Colorado. I know I speak for all of us up here that we want to express our sincere gratitude for his outstanding work as the director of the Pathfinder Event Center. His dedication, vision, and leadership have been instrumental in transforming Pathfinder into a vibrant and successful hub for our community. His commitment to excellence has been evident every day in his leadership and guidance. The Event Center has become a place where our community can come together, celebrate, and create lasting memories. Thank you for the invaluable contributions to our community, Jeremy. Your passion for the Pathfinder Event Center has made a significant and positive impact, and we are incredibly fortunate to have had you in this position.
Hear, hear.
Yes, hear, hear. And then just one more thing, I can't help but look at all the wholesome leadership and be reminded my grandfather worked at Portland, that's what we always called it. Worked at Portland for 42 years. He was one of the longest tenured retirees at that time, so it's good to see you guys here. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, sir. Any questions or comments for Mr. Croce?
Nope.
Okay. At this time, we turn to our other elected officials for comments. Do we have any that you would like to share? I know you do.
I do. You know I do.
You know I always do too.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. As Sean already mentioned, 4th of July is coming very quickly. I would just like to draw your attention to a big event happening here in Canyon City on the 4th, beginning at 3 p.m. and continuing until after dark at Veterans Park. It's the big God and Country celebration. Ray Linebaugh, a veteran Marine, is kind of putting it on and organizing this year. It is intended to honor all veterans, all first responders and all law enforcement. And if you can't get behind those people, then maybe you're not really an American. That's how I feel. So at Veterans Park, they're going to have live music, food trucks, bouncy houses for your kids, antique cars, fireworks, and much, much more. So I hope to see you all there. The other thing I wanted to mention, Mr. Chair, is we all have the opportunity to serve not only on statewide boards and steering committees, but national as well. So National Association of Counties annual meeting is coming up. It's going to be held next month in Philadelphia County. I believe the three of us are going to be attending. Toward that, I wanted to speak just a little bit. Yesterday, I spent almost 2 hours in a meeting for the steering committee that I sit on, which is Agriculture and Rural Affairs. We have the opportunity through working in our own committees to run resolutions that our committee will discuss if approved at national. If approved, it will go on to the full board of NACO, and if approved there, it actually becomes part of national policy for NACO, the National Association of Counties, where they work on those policies with lawmakers to do better things for our local counties. And so I am running a resolution again this year that we talked about at length yesterday. It is a proposed resolution to financially support the agricultural industry, not only here in Colorado, but throughout the United States. So we talked a lot about this. This is the, I think, 4th, but it could be the 5th year that we've put this one forward. And it has gone through the process and has been approved every year, but they have to be renewed also every single year. So we're renewing this one this year, and I thought it was a beautiful thing yesterday. I put it forward as a sponsor, and I received 18 co-sponsors during that meeting yesterday. So I think there's a lot of support for agriculture out there, and that made me really happy. So I just want to mention those things, as well as I know Commissioner McFall also serves on one of those steering committees, and he also has a resolution I thought he might want to speak to you about as well this morning. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Well, I guess you know what I want to talk about.
There you go. I teed it up for you.
Yeah. Yeah, and to that point, I'm on the Public Land Steering Committee for National Association of Counties, as well as Colorado Counties Incorporated. And public lands is a focus. There's over 50% public lands in Colorado. In Fremont County, there's just under 50% of federal public lands, but over 50% of public lands in general. So public lands are a pretty important part of what we discuss. And being part of the Western Interstate region, which is the 15 western states, which is where most of the national public lands are, as you could tell, public lands is a pretty hot topic. Our forests are in terrible shape, trying to get the federal government to step up and take care of the forest, or let us or something, because the forests are burning hot because of the fuels that are in those forests. So yeah, I do have a resolution also that reintroduce. It's been passed through the NACO system, however you want to put it. It's part of the deal right now, but it's for I started out as fire mitigation, but it turned out to be natural disaster mitigation, because we encompassed hurricanes and tornadoes and floods and fires and everything else. So, and then Representative Pedersen has introduced it in Congress again. They did last year too, and it got hung up in a committee, and I think it's hung up again, but we're going to keep pressing forward with that. What it does is allow, right now, the way it stands, if you have somebody do fire mitigation work on your property, after $500, you have to issue a 1099. We're trying to bump that up to where it's $6,000 rather than $500, so you can't clear or do fire mitigation on an acre of land for under probably $2,000 now, and $2,000 is cheap. So trying to get that to help people out to make it more feasible to do fire mitigation. And we'll see how that goes. I'm sure I'll get it passed through public lands and then through NACO again, and it'll be on NACO's top key points up there, and we'll just keep pushing for that, as well as other things associated with public lands. As you guys see in the news, there's the big debate now that selling off some of the public lands. That's been nixed out of the Senate portion of that bill today. It's got to go back to the House afterwards, but some of the land that they're talking about is landlocked by private lands, and it's only good for certain things, maybe housing or something. That's where it's talking about. So there needs to be some compromise on that, because the latest map that they showed most of Colorado could be up for sale because it met the criteria, the BLM properties. Most of that's not ever going to happen, but anyway, it's a big debate up there, so we're watching that pretty closely too. And as everybody else has said, I hope everybody has a happy Independence Day coming up pretty soon. Be safe and be happy out there. But while you're shooting your illegal fireworks off, which I hope nobody does, they leave the ground, the fuels in the fire danger areas are very dry. With this hot heat and these winds that we're having, it's even more volatile. So be very careful while you're out there. Visited with the sheriff this morning. He's in talks with the fire chiefs around and emergency manager Michael Kroll. I know he tries to keep in contact with BLM and Forest Service as well. For fire restrictions, we're not in any yet, but I don't think we're very far away from that because of the dryness of the fuels and the heat keeps coming in the wind. So be careful while you're out there and be safe.
Thank you, Commissioner McFall. Just to kind of tack onto that, I was just thinking the same thing exactly as you were saying it, that it can't be that far off that we're looking at the sheriff making that decision and pulling that trigger, so to speak. Yes, please be very careful out there. If you're sitting there thinking, well, I wonder when it was the last time it rained. I think we're all kind of thinking that. It was a nice wet April, May, and it's been a little while since we've had rain come through town, and it is dry, it is hot, so please be careful out there. Be cognizant of the fact that we will probably be going into a fire ban sometime in the near future. Just to tack on also to the other two commissioners, as far as our involvement with NACO, the National Association of Counties, I sit on the Finance, Pensions, and Intergovernmental Affairs Steering Committee for that, and we had a Zoom meeting yesterday as well, talking about all the platform changes and resolutions, and they kind of bird dog, that committee in particular bird dogs some of the more general government kind of things, such as elections. And there's a whole lot of good policy proposals in that regard. They also have some proposals in regard to how the census is conducted. Some of those aren't quite as good. But also when things come up as far as finance and pensions and how we advocate with the federal government, with Congress, on how law is administered and how that affects us on the county level and across every kind of local government, including state government. So very important committee as far as just our everyday kind of existence in life and what we do with in these general affairs. Really appreciate my two colleagues and their involvement with their committees and the importance that has for Fremont County in so many ways. One other thing, just a note, I mentioned it during Mr. Sutton's report as far as the finances go and as far as revenues go. I mentioned the state, they do their quarterly forecasts, and they did their forecast just last month, or actually just last week. And that comes from both the governor's office and from the legislative council there in the Capitol building. And as I said, they're a little bit bearish on what the revenue forecast is going to be coming up for the next quarter, which impacts how they look at going forward with the state budget, looking forward to that for next March and April when they're actually working on the budget for the 26-27 fiscal year. They anticipate lower than expected revenues. I only bring that up because when I say lower than expected revenues, it doesn't mean that they're making cuts necessarily. They're making cuts in the government sense. It means they're not spending as much as they wanted to. And so we look back at this last fiscal year and we talked about a $1.2 billion shortfall in the state budget. And while that was kind of true, that doesn't mean the budget went down $1.2 billion. The budget actually went from about $40 billion up to $44 billion for the 25-26 fiscal year at the state level. Anybody that can do math says that's a $4 billion increase, not a $1.2 billion decrease. That is government math. And so just beware when we start talking about these cuts and things like that. It's not cuts in the sense that you and I think of cuts when we are talking about our own home budgets at the kitchen table. Government cuts are such that you cut only that which you wish you could have spent, not what you actually will spend. So be fairly warned that that is coming and that discussion will continue. In the meantime, very happy with where we're at and our conservative budgeting here in Fremont County, where we're able to anticipate some of those potential shortfalls. That being said, we will move on to the next item on our agenda. We do have 5 minutes until public hearing time. We will try to get, actually, we only have a couple of items of business under new business before the public hearings. And so just fair warning for our two folks here in, yes, I will get to that. For our folks here for the public hearings, we will probably start a little bit after 9:30 for the first one. We'll get through these new business items and then go from there. Right now, the next item on our agenda is citizens who wish to address the commissioners on a matter not scheduled on the agenda. Is there anyone here that is signed up or would like to sign up to speak to the commissioners on an item not on our agenda? Seeing none, we will move on. There is no old business. We'll move on to new business. First item is a request for the issuance of a malt, venison, spiritus, and fermented malt beverage special events permit for Fremont Adventure Recreation for an event at 1194 County Road 110 in Florence on June 28 from 4 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. in 2025. With us, Katie Elder. There you are. Come on up. There are some of us that would date ourselves, we'd say Katie Elder and all the sons of Katie Elder. And I bet you've never heard that before.
She's never heard that one before. Yes, thank you for being so unique.
Well, tell us what you got going on.
We have our event coming up this weekend. It's a music relaxation event, just to get people out there and check it out.
And where is this located?
Where?
This is out
Oh,
out off of County Road 110, 120 in Florence. It's Desert Reef Hot Springs.
okay. Any questions for Katie?
Yes.
Okay.
As usual, we always ask applicants if those who will be serving alcohol have been trained. Are they tip certified? Are they trained? And how will you control that there is no underage drinking going
So
on?
they are tips certified, everybody who's going to be serving is. We are doing ID checks and wristbands at the door. If they don't have an ID, they are marked as the big black X's saying they are underage. I don't care if they're 90 or 100, they're getting X's. And everybody who's doing it has done it at multiple events that we've had out there.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Anything?
Nothing further from me?
Okay, at this time, we turn to our clerk's office for a report. Is that you, Ms. Ryan? Mm-hmm. Okay.
So the application was submitted on May 15th for an event on June 28th, which is the 45th day before the event, still meeting the requirement. Kat McNeil initially was representing this application but was unable to attend, so Katie Elder stepped in to answer any questions. This is the first time this location has been requested for a special event, but based on Public Health and Sheriff Department recommending approval, along with a very detailed diagram, the clerk's office recommends approval, as well as County Attorney Bellis.
Okay. Any questions for the clerks?
Nope.
I have
Okay.
none, Mr. Chair, which actually says to me that this is a pretty straightforward application,
Yeah.
that we do have all of the information that we need here, thanks not only to the applicant, but to our clerk's office as well. So I have no questions, Mr. Chair, but I do have a motion if you're prepared.
Please.
I move to approve the issuance of a malt, venison, and spirituous and fermented malt beverage special events permit to Fremont Adventure Recreation for an event at 1194 County Road 110 in Florence, Colorado on June 28th from 4 p.m. to 11:30 p.m.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to approve the malt business and spirits and fermented malt beverage special events permit for Fremont Adventure Recreation on June 28th. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Commissioner McFall?
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham?
Aye.
Motion carries.
As easy as that.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Next item on our agenda is the Secure Transportation Service License and Permit for BOCC Hachette DBA Air Ride Colorado LLC. And for this, I believe, are we turning to our county attorney for an explanation, or Mr. Kroll is here? Either or.
Good morning, Michael.
Good morning.
Morning.
So again, we have a secure transport company that would like to get a Type 1 Class A secure transport license for approval to transport in and out of Fremont County for behavioral health transport. They have met all the requirements. Their vehicle has been inspected and all documents have been prepared and saved in my office.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Any questions for Mr. Kroll?
Not here.
No.
Anything to add, Mr. Bellis?
No, other than since we've done it for everyone else, Class A would be for physical restraint authorized, Type 1, physical barrier between driver and passenger installed in vehicle.
Okay.
Thank you.
It's always a welcome reminder with these, all the things, all the things. Okay. Any questions?
A
Any
motion
comments?
if you're ready.
How about a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the Secure Transport Service License Class A for 3 years and permit Type 1 for 1 year to BOCC Hachette, doing business as Air Ride Colorado LLC.
And the vehicle permit is for
A vehicle.
a 2014 Ford Explorer.
Yes.
Yeah, 2014 Ford Explorer.
Okay, I'll second that.
Has been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner McFall?
Aye.
Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham?
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right.
Thanks, Michael.
Michael.
Thanks, Michael. And despite the fact that there is a number 3 on our agenda, we will ignore that because it is blank. So
We
it
don't
is
have it.
just a leftover. We will move on. It is 9:32. We will move on to our public hearings. The first item up on our agenda is SRU 24-005 for Marchand Ranch Wedding and Event Venue. Wedding and event venue that is to be operated 7 days a week. Events will be primarily held in the afternoons or evenings with an occupancy of 250 guests inside of the structure. The location is at 4801 State Highway 9, Canyon City. And with us today is the applicant, Tiffany Foster.
Good morning.
And I'll go ahead and
morning.
open the public hearing. Tiffany, please, tell us what you got happening, and as
Okay.
if we don't know up here.
I know. Seriously. I feel like a staple in this room occasionally. All right. Well, I just want to, I wrote up a little something. First and foremost, I want to thank the Lord and my Savior for giving me the vision and sending me the correct professionals to bring my vision to life. Not only have they done a phenomenal job in their field, but they've also prayed for me and this project to come to fruition. On behalf of myself and the Marchand Ranch team, I want to extend our heartfelt thanks to the community, local businesses, commissioners, Dan, and Wyatt, and a special thanks to Joanne for always being an incredible cheerleader in the Planning and Zoning office, which is usually needed. Since opening, Marchand Ranch has welcomed thousands of guests to Canyon City. Sorry, it's emotional.
You're allowed emotions, it's okay.
I am, yes, thank you. Many experiencing the beauty of beauty of Fremont County for the first time. These visitors stay in hotels, dine in our restaurants, and shop locally, helping sustain the small businesses that make our town thrive. Nearly 80% of our vendors are based right here in our community, and we've seen firsthand how this work changes lives. From caterers growing their family businesses to wedding professionals able to stay in Canyon City while fostering children. We're proud to contribute to a form of tourism that uplifts without changing the character of our town, preserving its charm while supporting its growth. And while we are a for-profit business, we're committed to giving back, regularly opening our doors for local nonprofits and community events with no charge. Thank you for recognizing the role Marchand Ranch plays in strengthening our local community. We're honored to be a part of what makes Canyon City special and excited to keep building a future together. So, that's what we're doing.
All right, any questions or comments from the commissioners
Not at
or
this
the
time.
applicant? Okay,
No, I think the motion is appropriate, though. I mean, it's been a long time, right?
Yes,
So it's good to get to this point and hopefully be done with this for a while.
it is.
okay. Just a reminder, if you're here to speak during the public hearing, there are sheets to fill out on the table over there, and you can hand them up here to the clerk. And this is an open and public hearing, and so the public has the right to address the issue before us. At this time, we turn to Mr. Victoria for our staff report. Sir.
Thank you, everyone. All right, so we have SRU 24-005, Marchand Ranch Wedding and Event Venue. The venue will be operated 7 days a week. Events will be held afternoons or evenings with an end time of 10 to 10:30, with cleanup of the facility beginning around 11. The venue has an occupancy of 250 guests inside of the structure. The lot dimensions, the overall lot is 220 acres, but the boundary of this SRU is just over 3.16. They've met all parking requirements, hard surfacing requirements for ADA and van accessible ADA. The location of this is 4801 State Highway 9 in Canyon City. They have held an active temporary use permit since April 25th of 23, and we've received no complaints. They're located in the residential 3 zone district and surrounded by residential 3 and primary use of residential/ranching. For CDOT, CDOT and applicant have agreed on an approved traffic plan with conditions. There are 2 access points into this permitted area. Tallahassee Fire Protection District, floodplain doesn't apply. They do use hauled water from Canyon City Bulk Water and Geem Trucking. They've installed a separate bathroom structure with an OWTS system, Black Hills for electric, Republic for a dumpster with weekly pickup, lighting in the parking areas and the buildings. They do have an approved noxious weed control plan. Access for the facility is taken off of County Road 323A. For active permits, they do have an active permit for a pergola/shade structure. The approval status of that is pending at this time. For public comments, last evening we did receive 1 comment from a neighbor who just had noise concerns and if there was ever the use of fireworks. So a copy of that letter has been sent to the commissioners.
Dan, I would like to note, we also received a separate letter this morning.
In support of.
Yes, that was
Yeah.
fully in support of.
Yes, sorry for that. Yeah, we did have a letter of support that was received this morning.
Yes.
No concerns from FCDOT. From CDOT, they'll continue to process the access permit application for this permit once they receive notification of approval, providing the recommended conditions are detailed from their April 30th letter. Everything's in compliance with the building department. Fire protection plan meets all code requirements. The conservation district did have concerns about noxious weed seeds with people coming and going, but we do have an approved noxious weed control plan. So I believe that's been addressed. Planning Commission voted to approve this project as presented. We have 1 waiver request, which is landscaping. So with that, Staff has found the application is in compliance with the requirements of the Fremont County zoning resolution. We recommend approval of this SRU with a contingency of a revised site plan, just some labeling and detailing where that new structure is going to be placed on the site plan, and an approved CDOT access permit. So one waiver, one contingency, one condition.
Not complicated at all.
Actually,
Relatively
it's
speaking,
not.
not.
It's really not.
Okay, any questions from Mr. Victoria?
No.
Okay. Neither do I. At this point, we turn to our time for public comment. This is for both for and against SRU 24-005. Is there anybody wishing to speak on this issue? Don't all rush up at once.
You got up and went the wrong way.
Yeah. Okay, seeing none, I would just reiterate the two letters that we got, emails that came in. One, again, was, I wouldn't say against, right?
It was not against, it just concerns.
The concerns on fireworks.
Fireworks, and they were hoping for a 10 p.m. end time, whereas the applicant in the application has a 10 to 10:30 end time. So I think we're pretty close.
Which is kind of what we have already stated with, yeah.
Speaking of the letter, though, I
go
do
ahead.
have a question for you. The letter clearly references occasionally not shutting down on time, and so noise is running into later hours. Could you address that for us?
Yes. So there's often times where it goes usually until 11. I would be remiss if I don't know where 10 p.m. came in, but we clearly do stay open till 11. So I don't know if that's tattling on myself or not, but that's what time we actually close is 11 p.m. So I do have to say, I have talked with her. She has only given me one complaint. I know exactly who she is. She sent me an email on 10/10 of 2024 was her one and only complaint to me. We've done almost 100 weddings. So in my opinion, that's a very slim problem. I also have done some things since that 10/10/24 date to try and help out. I now have a decibel meter that we try to keep at a very reasonable level in between roughly 90 and 100. 85 is just a room like this size with people talking. So just to give you an idea of the different noise levels. So I do feel like I'm trying to be really compliant with that. I also have discussed with her and told her that I'd be really happy to try and find certain foliage. Where she is located, she is right, she's not close by any means, but the noise travels up and over a hill and right into her back window. She did tell me in an email that the only time she hears any excess noise is when she is in her bedroom with the window open. She was very clear on saying that to me. So I feel like I would implore you to not give me a 10 o'clock close time. That would be devastating for couples. That's not late enough on your wedding night.
I think my main concern is the not shutting down on time. So if 11 o'clock is the time, then 11 o'clock needs to be the time.
11 o'clock is very regularly the time. Occasionally, the music goes off at 11. There's people still at my place, of course, because there's cleanup and things like that. And of course, my staff, there's definitely cleanup to be had and things like that. So as far as music going off, it goes off at 11.
Okay.
So the other thing that I do want to talk about is fireworks. We only had them 4 times last year. They were very planned. They are not done just willy-nilly. They are conducted by an actual certified fireworks technician that is registered with the state. I also am 3 miles away from a fire department. They are aware when we do the fireworks, and I also am right next to, forgive me his name right this second, head of police. What is his name? can't think of it. Anyway, he lives just down the road, about a mile from me. And him and I have talked a little bit about the fireworks as well, just to notify him. So that is not a constant thing. And I also let her know that I would definitely let her know when those are happening. I know when those are scheduled. So I feel like I've been extremely neighborly. And she hasn't been rude to me in any way, shape, or form, but I would just ask that an earlier time not be implemented for me.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. And as far as the fireworks go, of course, it's obviously, you've been to enough of these meetings where that's obviously a concern of ours when it comes to fire and how dry things are. And so I don't think it's necessary for us, just me speaking. We could always be more restrictive than state law, but state law is pretty restrictive. And if we go into a fire ban, then that changes that landscape entirely also. And so as long as you agree to abide by state law and by any existing fire ban in the county, I think that's sufficient.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, I'd say that the county could be in a fire ban and Tallahassee Fire District not, but typically Tallahassee Fire District follows what the sheriff does, so it more than likely will be.
Right. And so more specifically, probably being in compliance with whatever the Tallahassee Fire District in their position. So thank you for that.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I've got another question, and I'm not trying to set you up or anything, so I don't want you to say something that you don't need to, but you're okay with this CDOT negotiation that you had in the parking situation?
I am. Actually, it's going to end up being super helpful because we already encourage our couples to get transportation because they're drinking. So it's a really good idea in my opinion. Will Colin, who does our transport for us already, has done more than I can count as far as just numbering them off my fingers and toes over the 100 weddings that we've had. So it's already a very stable practice that we do already. The difference going forward is that I'm including one of those transportations on Marchand Ranch. So it'll be free to the couple or included in their booking, just to sweeten the pot a little bit. So I have no problem with it at all. It'll actually be wonderful.
Okay.
Okay.
Because I've stressed my opinion about CDOT, I just don't want you to, so.
Yeah.
I know this has been an outstanding topic here, so we'll leave it at that. Thanks, sir.
Yeah, we will maybe
Next.
keep some of our comments about CDOT behind our teeth today. Still open for anybody that has comments on this project. We're still in the public comment portion. Just to make note, those 2 emails that we did receive are part of the public record and they will go in the folder as such as part of the public comment. If there are no takers, public comment portion is closed. Any other questions from?
I have maybe more of a comment, but a little bit of a question. So first of all, congratulations on what you've achieved out there. It's taken us, I know, a very long time to get to this point, a lot of patience from everyone concerned here. Having said that, I've been out there several times myself. It really is a beautiful event. And I've seen the landscaping that you have and how stunning it is there. So I'm a little bit curious to know why you're asking for a waiver of landscaping, Tiffany.
I have no idea, other than the fact that I think that came into place because there was so much landscaping already done that they didn't put me into a category of having to do more because you've seen it. There's a ridiculous amount of landscaping. So I think that's why. Dan, you can speak to it.
It was in the application, just never removed from the application, so
Hi, Matt.
it was always a question that kind of had, since it's beautiful and it's landscaped out there, so it's, but yeah, it's
Maybe just
technically a
not
letter
read
in
it.
the file.
I get the sense that Mr. Koch might have something.
Here's that.
Might have a comment?
Yeah, I'm Matt Cope with Cornerstone Land Surveying. The intent of the landscaping is usually to break up large expanses of parking lots. In this case, it's a gravel parking lot with nothing in it, and so there was no reason to put landscaping, islands and medians and
Islands,
things like that
right.
in it. So
Right.
that's the intent of the waiver.
Okay, thank you for that. I couldn't figure that one out, so I appreciate the help.
Okay. Okay, anything else? Just to kind of tack on here, boy, yeah, this has been a long haul here. So we've been waiting for this day for a long time. I see Ty out there too. So congratulations on getting here. I know how much work you guys have done, as Debbie said, all the work that's been done out there, and the events that you've already held and will be holding out there. It's a fantastic venue. Before we go into a motion and a second, any last comments? I was going to say any last words. Any
Not this meeting.
any concluding comments or advertisements that you would like to make while you've got the mic?
I'm just incredibly grateful. It has been a long process. It's certainly not an easy one, not for the faint of heart, but anybody that knows me knows that I often use the comment, if the Lord is for me, then who can be against me? And millions, billions of prayers have gone into this vision, and he, as always, if we ask, he prevails. And so really it's just testament to him. So.
Okay. Then on that note, commissioners.
I do have a motion.
Please.
Indeed. Mr. Chair, I move to approve SRU 24-005 Marchand Ranch Wedding and Event Venue. This venue will operate 7 days a week. Events will primarily be held in the afternoons or evenings. The venue has an occupancy limit of 250 guests inside the structure. The location is at 4801 State Highway 9 in Canyon City, Colorado. This motion does include a waiver of landscaping, apparently, for the parking lot, as well as a contingency of receiving a revised site plan from you and an approved CDOT access permit.
I second that.
It has been moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
Just one note that revised site plan has to be in within 6 months, no extensions.
The revised site.
How about tomorrow?
That works.
Tomorrow would be fine. Anytime after a minute and a half from now
Yeah.
is acceptable before 6 months. All right. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Commissioner McFall?
All right,
Commissioner Grantham?
Aye.
Motion carries.
congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Good luck.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay. Just a quick reminder, as we talked about in that last public hearing, there is an opportunity to sign up for giving public testimony for this next item. Please do so on the sheets back there, and if you wish to speak, then please hand that in up here to the clerk, and we will get you in order to speak during the public comment section. Next item on our agenda is a CUP 24-001 Red Creek Quarry. This is for the operation of a limestone quarry that will encompass 1,492 acres, including a materials transport and access corridor, MTAC, between the Red Creek Quarry location and the cement plant. Estimated lifespan of the quarry is 100 years, but the request is for the life of the mine. The location of this is at 3500 State Highway 120 in Florence. And with us, we have the Blue Shirt Brigade.
Mr. Chair?
To speak to this. Yes,
Before we begin this item, I
Oh,
have
yes,
something I
please.
need to say.
thank you.
With apologies to my fellow commissioners and to the applicant as well. This applicant has a relationship as well with Fremont's Exceptional Women, where I also serve. And out of an abundance of caution, I feel the need to recuse myself from this particular application from the discussion and from the vote. I do apologize for this, but I think it's in the best interest of everyone. So I recuse myself from this entire discussion. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner. And I had this discussion with others this morning as far as recusing. We understand completely the necessity for that and honor that. And so what that usually means is very little, when I say very little, zero input and discussion from Commissioner Bell, but it's not typical, but this is a special circumstance. And that's when recusing is permitted in very special circumstances like that. We will continue. We'll go ahead and open the public hearing at this point for CUP 24-001 and turn it over to
Hamza Makfi. Good morning.
What was the name again?
Hamza Makfi.
Okay. Please.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Mr. Chair, Commissioners, I'm the Amarize plant manager at Portland. It's an honor to be here today on such a momentous occasion. As you may know, yesterday, June 23rd, Holcim US became Amarize. You can see on this slide the new logo. So Amarize is a US-based spin-off company, which is now traded at the New York Stock Exchange. So we are very excited to be the largest cement producer in the US, and we have plans and projects to grow this company. So today, the reason we're here with my team is an important step. We're talking about the future of the plant. We're talking about the long-term success of the new company, Amarize. I'm talking about the Red Creek permit for the new quarry. We will, with my team, will describe the scope, give you more details on the operations as we are moving forward. I remember the first time I came here was in 2022, when I was pleased to accept the proclamation you offered in recognition of the 125th anniversary for the plant, for the operations. And we have a few pictures. Yes, please, next one. Yeah, you can see these few pictures showing the history of the plant. Generation after generation, Portland has supported all the area. As Mr. Carochi mentioned, a lot of people work there. Until today, we have relatives, we have families, and it's a long journey. The operation started in 1897 and still running until now. We have also union steel workers at the plant. On the operation side, next one, please. No, the next one. Yes. So the plant is producing 1.2 million tons of cement every year. We have almost 200 employees. 75% are Fremont County residents. Every year we generate very large economic activity, generating billions of dollars through payrolls, through capitals, through operations. In terms of tax, for the last 10 years, we generate $19.4 million for the Fremont County. The plant has a capacity of 1.8 million tons of cement. We also burn in our kiln more than 3 million of used tire, co-processing process. And currently, the Bear Creek quarry is at the end of its life. So that's why we we are requesting to have the permit for the new Red Creek quarry for the future of the plant. I have my team here. Mr. Mike Tolley, head of quarry and raw material at corporate level. Timothy Smith, the quarry manager for Portland. We have Shad Shapiro, our area environmental and public affairs manager. We have our HR manager, Maria, to support the project, to give you more details on the project. And this project will take 2 years of constructions. We're talking about 6 miles plus of conveyor belt, crushers, a lot of equipment. And we believe that this will provide a good benefit on the area because we'll have other companies working on the construction. So I'm talking about the hotels, the restaurant, or the stores, and the benefit they could have from this project. On behalf of all the employees, I would like to thank the Fremont County Planning and Zoning Commissioners for their support to our permit. Their decisions allows us to be here today and ask you for your support to keep running the plant for the coming 100 years. So with that, I will ask Dave, safety manager, to give you more details on our safety operations. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
How y'all doing? I'm Dave Wales. I'm the safety manager out at the Portland Cement Plant. Just want to talk about a couple of things I'm really proud of. Number one, we've worked over 1.7 million man-hours without a lost time injury. And for those of you that aren't good at math, that dates back to 2020. The other thing I'm really proud of, our emergency response team. We've got 25 members on our response team. It's more than double any other cement plant. And no, that's not because we have a lot of injuries. That's people caring about people put into action. We've had so many guys come up and say, hey, I want to learn what to do. I want these skills. I want to be able to help my fellow employee, my family, my neighbor, all that kind of stuff. We've got them all emergency medical responder certified, and then we put a team together. We are the only team in southern Colorado that's confined space rescue certified. So, and then 2 of them are also volunteers on the Florence Fire Protection District. So it's a quick brief, and there's that picture I had, the one right before. There's one of our trainings that we were doing, if you go back one. So getting somebody off the tower. I'd like to present Maria, our HR manager, to talk about people.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
My name is Maria Renteria. How you doing? And today, the plant, as you can see, employs over 180 people, 75% of which call Fremont County their home. They live around the Fremont County. And in just the last 10 years, the plant has invested over $150 million in its workforce since 2014 through 2024. As he mentioned, multiple generations of families are employed at the plant. And also in 2025, we have completed 1 job fair, and we have 2 more planned. And after this, I would like to call Ms. Megan Runiak to the podium.
I wasn't smart enough to print out my section. Sorry about that. Thanks, Maria. So I'm Megan Runiak. I'm the environmental engineer at Portland Cement Plant. And I just want to talk about our community engagement a little bit in the community in Fremont County. So we continue to engage quarterly through our growing community advisory committee. The plant held, if you'd go back 1 slide. Thank you so much. This year we held Tire Day in May when we collected over 1,500 tires.
We're hosting a Scouting America Day in September where we will help scouts earn merit badges in mining and society and soil and water conservation. Amrise is continuing our philanthropic engagement by organizing a charitable golf tournament to benefit the local elementary school's Weekend Food Bank program. And we are re-engaging with the Chambers of Commerce in the region, and Amrise is a bronze sponsor for the Florence 4th of July Festival, and we have given out 3 large donations this year to a variety of organizations highlighting sports and agriculture. And at this time, I'd like to invite Mike Tolley and Tim Smith to the podium to continue speaking about the Red Creek Quarry Project.
Good morning. I'm Tim Smith, Quarry Manager at the Portland plant. So the Red Creek project, as we've talked about, is going to expand the operation by an additional 100 years. It consists of 6 land sections to the southeast of the county. 2 of them are in Fremont County, the other 4 over in Pueblo County. Up here, you can see on the northwest corner is where the existing plant is, and the Bear Creek Quarry, which we're currently mining out of, which we'll be exhausting in the next few years. And then it will be connected in via a corridor down to the 6 land sections on the very far southwest property. So right down in here will be the new section. Next slide, please. Next slide. Yes, next slide. All right, and here is everything labeled up. So as we've talked about, we have Bear Creek Quarry with the Portland plant up there off of Highway 115 or 120. We'll come down the material transport and access corridor, about 6.3 mile long, modernized conveying system, and down to the Red Creek Quarry where we'll have new equipment put in place. So here's the basic mine plan of how we get to 100 years. So we're going to start the mining up in the northwest corner of the 6 sections. The first 20 years are going to be up in that first section, and then we'll proceed to the south and then head directly over to the east as we go into Pueblo County over the next 100 years. So quite a bit. Next slide, please. And here's going to be the basic layout. We're going to have the crushing system put up there in the first section in the northwest, and then we'll install all the office infrastructure, parking areas, and so forth for all of the employees. Everything will be contained right up there for the first 20 plus years. Now I'm going to hand this off to Mike Tully.
Good morning.
Morning.
My name is Mike Tully. I'm the manager for raw materials and quarries for Amrise now, corporate. So I support all of our operations in the United States, but I am based out of the Portland plant and have been there for 22 years. And so I have been the quarry manager there, I've been the production manager there, and then I joined corporate. So one of the unique things of this project, as Hamza mentioned, the reason for the whole project is that the current quarry is depleting. And we estimate we have another 4 to 5 years before we run out of limestone. Without the limestone, we don't have a plant. And so in 2010, we embarked, and the large expanse of property just south of us was the old Clevenger Ranch, which was purchased by Ranchlands LLC. And we bought and negotiated and bought with the owners the Red Creek Quarry area, the 6 sections. What's unique to this is that as the crow flies, that quarry is 5 miles south of the plant. So we had to look at different ways of how we're going to get the limestone back to the plant. And as it came down to the long belt. One of the reasons that it's curved that way is because we only have to cross the Minnequaw Canal once. If it was a straight line, we'd have to cross it 5 times. And that's a huge cost. So at any rate, just some details on that. It's a 6.3 mile conveyor system, single conveyor system, the first in Colorado. It's got the corridor itself is 250 feet wide, and we'll also have a transport road from the plant down to the quarry, internal on private property. We also have access through Highway I-96, and we'll talk about the CDOT permit in a bit. So we'll have a 40-foot wide roadway as well as a conveyor belt and a maintenance road that goes up and down that road. Along with that, we have several crossings that we have to do for drainage. They've all been identified. We're working with the Corps of Engineers on that, but we had combined the crossings of the drainage with wildlife crossings and also cattle crossings. And so that we can maintain, we have had the Colorado Division of Wildlife out there. We have gone through everything and showed them all the drainages and whatnot, and so we're in alignment with them, but as we all know, things change over the years. And so with that, we maintain a flexible position in the future of always trying to make things better. But right now, it is planned to put the 14 wildlife crossings in all along the route down to the quarry. So on that, we're going to go on to permitting. I'll introduce Chad Shapiro. He's our environmental manager there. He'll talk about the permits that he's working on.
All right, good morning.
Morning.
I'm Chad Shapiro, environmental manager. So just to give you all an update with respects to our state permitting and where we're at, in order to get everything moving forward and beginning development, we needed to have our Title V permit, at least in the hands of the state. They're reviewing it now. We've requested expedited approval, but we got that in about a month and a half or so ago, and currently it's being processed. Thus far, there's been no concerns or comments from CDPHE. In terms of water, we are also working on modifying our water permit, as there will be some groundwater discharge associated with the site. And basically just a modification of our current discharge permit that we have now. We have no issues or concerns with being able to meet those discharge limits. We are also working with the Division of Water Resources in terms of updating our water supply plan, as well as being able to provide ourselves water for the area for needs for such as dust suppression and other types of things. We all know it's a very dusty environment, but we are rigorous about ensuring that we're applying our water to maintain those dust levels. Everything else is in place, and we're moving forward. So I'm going to pass this back to Mike Tully.
So as you can see, there's been a lot of permits that we are working on. We started working on the permits in 2019. So actually we're on year 5 going on to year 6 of the permits. The first big permit that we did was the Division of Reclamation, Mining and Safety with the state of Colorado, DNR. We submitted that permit, the full application to it in 2024. Early on in 2023. And then in March of 2024, we received approval from the state for that permit. And of course, that permit, it's huge. I've got 4 big binders on my desk. That is the full permit. And a copy has been issued to the county on that when we submitted the application for the CUP. We did receive it in 2024. It sets the basis for a lot of the other permits as we go on. We are continuing water monitoring. We have 5 piezometer wells out at the site. So we are constantly checking and sampling for water quality on those both groundwater and surface water. We also installed a point of compliance well, which is a well that will be downgrade of the operations when we start, and that will be the well that we monitor during operations for water quality. Also in 2024, we applied for the CDOT permit for the access on I-96, which is the south access. We have an easement with the owner of the Ranchlands LLC. Upon approval, we did an engineering design of the access, which was submitted to CDOT and approved by them. We went ahead and modified the access already, and then it was inspected by CDOT and approved. So that has been completed. Going on with the permitting locally, Fremont County CUP, that's why we're here today. And then Pueblo County Special Use Permit is to be submitted here by the end of the month or in July. And so we have it ready to go, but we decided to wait until the name change of the company took effect so that we can put the new logo on all the application for that. Aside from that, we are one of the first agencies we contacted because of the drainages was the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. So since 2019, we've been working with them. We got jurisdictional determination down at the quarry site over in here for all jurisdictional and non-jurisdictional waters. So we're working with that. And then right now we are dealing with the Corps of Engineers for the corridor with each one of the drainages so we can get determination from them on what is jurisdictional and non-jurisdictional. We are going to be submitting that permit on July 7th to the Corps. It's about a 45-day turnaround, but we have been warned that they're short of resources. And I also understand that they closed the Pueblo office and they're now regionally out of Albuquerque. But the engineer that we're working with is actually based out of Carson City. So we met with him actually yesterday afternoon on a pre-application meeting, and we'll submit that. Once we have that, and then the rest of them will be the state of Colorado on submitting the rest of the determination for the rest of the drainages. So actually, 2025 is the year for the permits. This is when we hope by the end of the year to have all the permits in place. That will allow us to begin construction. Construction will be 2 years from 2026, 2027, and we anticipate starting to produce limestone to the plant late in 2027 or early in 2028. One other item that I'll bring up, when the spans of the 5 miles between the plant, electrical power generation. The plant currently uses Black Hills Energy for its power, but we also found out about third of the way down the access core road, that becomes Santa Isabel Electric Association's territory, if you will, on the electrical side. So we are dealing with both entities. Black Hills has the capacity to provide the power that we need, but not Santa Isabel does not at this time, but they have a full project going on and approved by their board to provide power for our quarry, but they also added on additional power generation there that would be beneficial to not only Pueblo County, but to that area of Fremont County. So that's where we are with the permitting and all the works that we have. So at this time, I'll turn it over back to Hamza for any other comments. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you. I hope, commissioners, you have more details on the project. And as Amrise, a new company, is requesting respectfully your approval for this permit, and we remain here for any question you might answer.
I appreciate that. Just a quick reminder, and maybe, I don't know, Justin, maybe you can help, but everybody that spoke will, just for the clerk's benefit, so that we have names and positions, so that we can get everything spelled right and get everybody called the right thing in our minutes. Okay? Any questions for the applicant?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, the first one may be for Mr. Bellis here. This application says Wholesome all the way through it, and they're claiming they're Averise now. So how does that come out?
It's the first thing I thought of this morning when I saw that the effective date of the name change was yesterday. So we would actually be approving, they are a renamed legal entity. Ownership, it does not appear changes. So the ownership entity remains the same, but this is essentially a rebranding. Because the application was submitted as Wholesome, I suppose that my preference, just for the sake of clarity, would be that we use both names in whatever action this board chooses to take, we take that action in the name of both Amrise and Wholesome, who submitted the application, just to make it clear. But it is actually Amrise at this point.
And the very last page of our packet has the rebranding and everything. So, I mean, it's part of the record as well.
Yes, it is.
Even if we made it part of the motion, just for clarity at the end.
And I do like that. I was unconcerned about it entirely until I realized the effective date was yesterday.
Okay.
Okay, the next question I have is, let's see. Should write neater. So when will you start reclamation on the current pits?
So as you saw in the.
Come to the mic, please.
Yeah.
As you saw in the map that Tim was showing on the mine plan, and those are on 10-year increments. And we're expecting that at the end of 10 years, we'll be ready to start concurrent reclamation. And under the permit, under the DRMS permit, the land is to be brought back to agricultural pasture land use after the mining's done. And so when we mine, so there's 2-3 layers of minerals that we take, and the top is waste material that we cannot use in the process, and so that gets stockpiled. And when we have the room and we're mining forward on the rest of the mine plan, we'll start backfilling that area. And so the reclamation plan on that concept and basis has all been submitted as part of the DRMS permit, and with all the cut and fills and volumes.
So on the current pits, though, you reclaim as you go, so
Yes.
where you're currently mining, that'll be reclaimed after you start digging on the new spot?
No,
if this passes?
it's already around 65% reclaimed.
Is it?
And it's already filled up, and it's been growing medium or topsoil.
But you've got another 2
Organics
years.
have been put on there, we've already seeded it.
You've got another 2 years of digging there, though, right?
Yeah, and that will, as we keep on digging, we'll continue to backfill it behind us and contour it. So one of the interfaces on this is that, so we mine waste, and then there's the cement limestone. It's called the Fort Hays limestone. That is the cement rock that we send to the plant. Underneath that is what's called the Codell sandstone, and we take the top 15 feet of that for a silica material to the plant. It's going to take us 10 years to open it up enough to be able to mine from there, the sandstone. So for the first 10 years, we'll be taking the sandstone out of the existing Bear Creek quarry.
Okay. And then you mentioned dust earlier, or dust suppression, somebody did. Is that conveyor belt going to create dust with the rocks traveling down the conveyor belt?
No, it will be the conveying system. Like I said, it's a single belt. It'll be done. It'll be completely covered.
Completely
and
covered.
At the transfer points at the quarry and at the plant, we'll have transfer points onto another conveying system they'll all have dust collectors and sprays.
How big is that conveyor belt?
It'll be about 42 inches wide. It's what's called a deep trough belt, so it mitigates any spillage we might have from it.
Okay, thanks. The next question is, so you've got access off of 96, but you're also putting a road along the whole corridor of the conveyor belt,
Yes.
including across the canal?
So across the canal will be a bridge for a maintenance road. And so right before the canal crossing, about half a mile back, is the crossing that we do on County Road 112. And so at that point, the conveyor belt is going to go up in height, up to 16 feet, because to allow for the semi-trucks to go between the Pioneer operation, which is our ACM, our aggregates group. And then the road that we use for transport will come in, and then we'll use 112 to get back to the plant.
Okay. That's all I've got for now.
Okay. And probably just for some clarity again on all of this, there's 2 sections in Fremont, there's 4 sections in Pueblo County. I'm scanning.
That is correct.
That is correct,
yes.
okay. Is is the process underway in Pueblo County as well in order to permit those?
The process is ready to go underway. It's, the permit application is completed on our part. We're just waiting for the name change so that we can submit it under Amrise.
And probably the approval of this one, I would assume.
Yes.
Unless you're going to jump it.
Well, and that's kind of to my
Yeah.
point, is the success of this approval dependent upon the success of the approval in Pueblo County? I mean, is this a all or nothing, or?
For the entire quarry, yes.
Yeah, okay, okay.
Yes.
Did anybody talk about blasting and
Yeah.
the schedule? Not yet?
Not in here, of course, that has been, the blasting was discussed in the setup for the air quality permit. Yeah, we talked about the blasting, and then also we have the parameters within the Division of Reclamation mining permit
Okay.
for blasting.
Pretty familiar with the area down there, but it's not like you travel through that area very often because it's a little out of the way for normal traffic. Are there any residences down there?
The closest residence is actually the ranch house of the owner of Ranchland LLC, Billy Peets. And actually, it's 1.6 miles away from the quarry.
Okay, okay.
That's the closest.
And as I read through it, there's a half a mile buffer, I believe, too, from the blasting areas? Is that correct?
I saw that as well, I think.
Yeah.
From the property itself, from the property line.
yes.
So the property, when we did the Division of Reclamation mining permit, the permit boundary is actually the property line. And so we have, in the past 8 months, started to fence that completely, and it is with approved Colorado wildlife fencing system, so the wildlife can get through it.
Okay. What's going to be the frequency estimated frequency of the blasts? Like
Blasting.
it's going to be 100 times a day or once a day?
No, it probably once a day, 5 days a week or less.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions?
Not at this time.
Okay. Thank you. At this time, we will turn to our staff for the staff report. Mr. Victoria, take her away.
Hello, everyone. CUP 24-001, Wholesome Red Creek Quarry, Amrise. Wholesome Red Creek Quarry will operate during daylight hours, 8 to 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. Approximately 27 employees will work at the quarry. Employees and equipment currently working at the Bear Creek Quarry will operate the Red Creek Quarry. The CUP boundary will encompass 1,492 acres to include a 219.72 acre tract for the Material Transport and Access Corridor, the MTAC, between the cement plant and the Red Creek Quarry. This MTAC will be enclosed by a 6-foot-high chain link fence and include a 40-foot-wide roadway for vehicle traffic. The conveyor is approximately 6.3 miles long to transport material. The MTAC will include 13 wildlife crossings and will include a County Road 112 conveyor crossing overpass. The site will have improvements that include a 184 by 70 metal building, a vault for sanitation, a water well, and a 20,000-gallon double-walled above-ground fuel tank with concrete wall crash protection structure. The quarry includes 6 contiguous land sections, 2 sections in Fremont and 4 sections in Pueblo County. The mining permit in Pueblo is expected to be submitted in the near future. This application is for 2 sections of land in Fremont County and permissions for the use of the MTAC to transport material from the 4 sections of land in Pueblo, providing the application is approved. Red Creek Quarry will be the new limestone and sandstone source for Wholesome and will provide material for the plant for approximately 100 years. The CUP request is for the life of use. On June 11, 2025, I received an email from Kay Chandran, a senior managing consultant at All4, regarding a rebrand and name change for Wholesome. The letter is in the packet. The letter details Wholesome will now be known as Amrise. Just because it was brought up before I move forward, there has been pre-application meetings about future energy projects associated with the site, but we don't have any applications in at this time, and no energy proposals are part of this application. So The location for this is 3500 US Highway 120 in Florence. Background, the Bear Creek Quarry is the current limestone and sandstone source for cement production at the Wholesome plant and is reaching the end of its life. The Red Creek Quarry has previously held CUP 02003 to allow for exploration. A limestone quarry and 4 generations of cement plants have been operating east of Florence since the late 1890s. The current plant facility, plant number 4, has increased its production in 2001. According to the records, about 3,200,000 tons of limestone are required per year to supply the current plant. Sand and sandstone is supplied as well. So for the land use and zoning, the property is in the residential 3 zone district. To the north, we have residential 3 and industrial. To the east, we have Pueblo County. To the south and west, we have residential 3 and ranching operations primarily. The estimated traffic count, the current traffic volume of 54 trips per day. There's no proposed increase. 2 numbers of access points. The site is served by the Florence Fire Protection District. There will be a water well. There is a vault for sanitation, or there will be a vault for sanitation. There is portions of the property in a floodplain. Electric will be by a utility provider. Waste management will do weekly pickup for the sanitation component, or trash, refuse. They will have a 2,000-gallon propane tank on site, lighting around the building area and along the MTAC. There is a noxious weed control plan that has been approved. The 2 access points I referenced earlier are State Highway 120 and State Highway 96. To date, the department has not received any concerns regarding this application. So, nothing from the public. So staff requested comments from various review agencies and has incorporated them in part or in whole as part of this report. No concerns from public health, FCDOT, no concerns. CDOT stated access permits are not required at this time. However, if traffic volumes in the future increase greater than 20% of the permitted number, the permittee is required to apply for a new access permit and may require improvements. Building department permits for structures will be required. The Fire Protection Plan, Florence Fire Protection District does not have any opposition. Fremont Conservation, no comments at this time. Colorado Division of Reclamation, Mining and Safety. The Bear Creek Quarry permit amendment for Red Creek Quarry decision is approved. And we originally have a letter in the file from the Parks Department requesting to work with the applicant and possible things that they could do to benefit wildlife. The applicant has contacted Colorado Parks and Wildlife, has discussions, and has reported back to us that they have navigated any concerns with the Parks Department. However, when I re-emailed the Parks Department, they never responded. So the letter in our file says that Parks wants a little bit more, but I don't have a response that says different from them. But the applicant has indicated that they are working with the Parks Department and there are no issues. So that is one question, but I can't force people to respond to me. As far as waivers, they're requesting a landscaping waiver. The Planning Commission voted to approve this project as presented. So having said all of this, having found the application is in compliance with the requirements of the Fremont County zoning resolution, staff recommends approval of the conditional use permit application with the landscaping waiver. We do not have a contingency and we do not have a condition that we're recommending. So we recommend approval with the one waiver.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Victoria. Any questions for Dan?
No.
Okay. I was taking note, I think Can't remember, Mike, if you mentioned it, the conveyor system, the MTAC. How long is that? 6.3 miles?
It's 6.3 miles from the quarry to the first transfer point at the plant.
I think you indicated its uniqueness. Is there, I know other mines, different time, I know the Molly mine up in Empire uses, it's like a 15-mile belt system.
Henderson mine.
Yeah, Henderson.
It's a 10-mile route. It's a 10-mile route under the mountains.
Under the
through
mountain.
Continental Divide.
Right.
Over to the mill site.
And then it's like 5 miles on the outside of the mountain.
And
It's massive.
It's massive.
Yeah. But a necessity, obviously, in that situation, much like this. I only point that out just because it's not unprecedented.
No.
In Colorado, certainly, it's a necessary evil. I shouldn't even say that. It's not a necessary evil. It's a necessity in certain situations because, like you said, the canal in this scenario. In any case, I just wanted to bring that up. It came to mind. I actually visited that mine not too long ago. Well, within recent memory.
I worked there for 3 years, but that's when we had the trains going back and forth.
Yeah. My understanding that the trains became obsolete because the mine level went down below the loading area of the trains.
Right. That's when they put the belts in.
Right. Okay. All right. Thank you, sir.
Quick clarification while you're there. So you said 14 wildlife crossings, the paperwork said 13. Is 14 what you came up with, CPW?
It's 13.
It's 13?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Mike. All right. We are at that point in time where we will open this up for public comment. The public hearing has already been opened, and so we will go to those who have signed up. Again, just a reminder, if you are in the room and you would like to speak on this matter, please fill out a sheet and bring it up front here. We will begin just at the top of my pile here. Start with Joan Elliott, President of the Florence Chamber of Commerce. Joan.
Well, thank you. I'm very excited about being here to be able to speak. I love the new name, and it's just really kind of motivating and inspiring as AmRise, and it kind of makes you feel good about with everything that's going on, that this is really exciting. I'm speaking for their expansion and for them coming in and changing on all these changes. AmRise has provided livelihood for many citizens in Florence and has a very positive enhancement of our community. We've had a great relationship with the city and AmRise these many years, and now we're looking forward to continuing that relationship. So I'm very excited. I don't have a lot of different information to say technically about it, but I'm excited and we're for it and onward and upward.
Thank you, Joan. I'm going to wait till she sits down and then I'll ask if you have a question for her.
Yeah, could you tell me? No.
Next, Rich Millard. Rich.
Good morning.
Morning.
It's my pleasure to be here this morning. I am Rich Millard, and I am the president and CEO of the Royal Gorge Chamber Alliance, which is our county's regional chamber of commerce. I do need to make it clear that I am speaking as a private citizen. We have not had a chance to have a board meeting to get any form of a resolution from the Chamber of Commerce, but I can speak with my experience working in the business community, how important I feel that it is for this resolution to be approved. I do support Wholesome and AmRise's application for the conditional use permit. as they transition from their international company to establish a more localized and community-focused operation, which I think is just really wonderful. You know, a company that's been a part of the community for 128 years, I think just speaks a lot to their commitment to this area. And they have been a member of our Chamber of Commerce for almost 20 years. So I personally feel like that does speak a lot to the community's focus on supporting organizations that do support other businesses. With what we've seen with the millions of dollars that they bring into the local economy, the main thing that I want to speak of is what I focus on in my job in my job with the Chamber is the diversification of our workforce. Since Fremont County is still largely a very cyclical, seasonal, tourism-based economy, any of the industries that we work really hard to support and or bring in that have a more stable workforce that works year-round with good paying jobs is really important. I feel like that brings in that really needed element that can support our tourism economy even better by having a more stable, higher paying jobs, supporting families. Those families bring in trailing spouses and the need for other businesses to crop up along the way. So I just feel like this is a really good opportunity for us to continue to support a company that's been around for as long as Amrise has, Wholesome, Amrise, all their entities, and really look forward to seeing what we can do with the business community and how we can get that support even stronger. So thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Before I sit down, any
No, I'll wait till you get there.
And next on our list is, any questions for Rich?
So,
Next, we have Steve Wolf, Mayor of Florence. Sir.
Thank you. First off, I'd like to make it clear that although I'm the mayor of Florence, I'm not up here representing the city council, nor am I representing the city of Florence itself. I'm up here as a citizen, pretty long time citizen of Florence, and I'm here to encourage your approval of this conditional use permit. They've been an integral part of the community for over 100 years, and we like to see it for another 100 years. I know they're important part of our tax base for the school district, and they're a quality employer in the area. And I know they are committed to improving the community relationships. And I was really excited when they hired Justin Kurth as the community relations person, because he's homegrown. He's from here, Penrose. He's committed to this area and doing things right.
He's all right. He's all right, I suppose.
you're talking about this, Justin?
Yeah, that Justin over there, yep.
Huh.
Yep. Getting involved with the community group again. And again, I was excited to see their recommitment to Florence. And Megan, I think you mentioned the golf tournament? Yeah. They're putting on a golf tournament to help out the weekend food program for Fremont RE2 School District, things like that. Although that isn't directly related to a rock quarry, I think it shows their commitment to the area and to doing things right. And I know as a geologist, my background as a geologist, I know everything starts with mining. And this is a critical commodity for our economy. And what I've been impressed with the Amrise team is their commitment to do things right. And I am confident, I feel good that they will do this right, they will do this properly. And I hope you approve the conditional use permit. Thank you.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you, Steve. And we are, if nothing else, equal opportunity here. We invite up the mayor of Canyon City, Preston Troutman. because
That's
an
not the word I
invitation
told
might
him
be
to use.
revoked.
I'd like to do that disclaimer. I'm here as a private citizen and have not had the opportunity to, although I'm pretty sure they would back me. I feel odd being on this side of that podium to do. I also have a disclaimer. There's a couple of things is that I am an alumnus of what was called the Ideal Cement. And that has been a very fond memory in my life working there. This is a group of people that have taken care of their employees. They're a legacy company in our community, and you know that. They have done things and they have done what they said they're going to do, and they've taken care of us for a long time. And I'm proud to say that I did work there for a little bit of time. I started out in the pack house. That didn't discourage me. I went to the quarry. That didn't discourage me. But to this day, I think I probably even worked with your dad. What was that? Dom, yeah. So, but it's also a legacy company as this is makes a commitment. I know from working with FEDC, they're not going to cut and run. And I think they could. They could say, we're done, we're out of here. And I'm from the coal region of Pennsylvania, and they did that there. When they're done, they're done. This company has gone to an extraordinary, an amazing, I've seen the work that they've done, that booklet. I was at a conference with them. Amazing things, technological things and engineering things to stay here and be here for a long time. And I think do it right from what I've seen. And I'm proud of that. I'm proud that they're staying here and they'll take care of us. So I am in support, of course, of their permit, and I hope they stay here for 100 years. I won't be here. And then one more thing, finally, I want to clear up, is just one more thing. That picture with the man on the cart, that was
you?
No, that wasn't me.
Well, that was my first, you can protest all you want, President.
No, but I'm very proud that I did work there. I have fond memories of that. This is a company that has repeatedly showed commitment to our area. And look at what they're trying to do and what they are going to do to stay here. It's amazing. And so I support them. Okay?
Thanks, sir.
Thank you. Anyone else that wishes to address the commission on this matter? If
One thing I forgot to mention. In the last couple days, we had received numerous letters of support. So in the folder, as part of the file, we also have probably close to 30 letters of support. So I did not bring that up during my presentation.
The way you framed that at the beginning, I thought we were in an episode of Columbo there for a little bit. One more thing. Anyway, thank you for that. If there is no one else that wishes to speak, we will close the public hearing. Any more questions or things to address? Commissioner McFall.
No questions, but I think a comment maybe. Too many notes. The CUP is 24-001, so obviously they've been working on it for quite a while because we are in 25, right? The application is 378 pages long. There's a lot of information in here that explains a lot of stuff. So it's not like this little bit of information that we heard today is what we're making a decision on. Holcim has been around, as has been said, for a long time. And I think this is a step in towards their figuring on staying here. They may change their name 2 or 3 more times, but they're going to stay here. And that's a good thing, because I know a lot of folks that have worked there and still work there. So it does well for our community. I think that they've done a really good job of going through the processes with the state, with us. They're going to go through it with Pueblo. This quarry is out in the middle of almost nowhere, you might say. Nobody's even going to know it's there for the most part. So there's not going to be any harm to anyone else. They've made their best efforts for wildlife and cattle, because as I've often mentioned, that I hate to see agriculture taken out of production. Well, this does not take it out of production. It allows for cattle to still graze if there is that chance, as well as wildlife to be able to pass through. It would be very interesting to see this conveyor belt once it's completed, though. It's kind of neat. And I guess that's all I have to comment on.
Okay. Yeah, some of the things you were saying are some of the things that was kind of rolling through my head as well, Commissioner McFall. The application, and this is something that, even though she's muted herself today, for good reason, it's something that Commissioner Bell brings up quite often, and you just did, that, you know, what you hear here today, and the millions of people that are watching online right now, what they hear is a fraction of the total application that we see in front of us right here. Before we're able to fit everything into this, the commissioners would have binders, and a binder like this one would have been that thick. We're talking nearly 400 pages of information, and it's a wealth of information. It's a lot for us to go through and review, but it's a long, lengthy process for something that big and significant in what it does to the county and for the county. And just so that the public knows that there's more to this than what we see right here in the public eye. All of this stuff, of course, is part of the record and is available for review by the public. This is the most public-facing portion of this process, where we get to hear from the applicant and any of those that are for and against. I say all that to say this: for as long and as complicated as the application is, and how much we have to go through and how much we have to review in order to make a decision, it's interesting that there may be far less complex overall than many applications that we have had in front of us for something so significant. Its overall complexity may actually pale in comparison to many other things. I do appreciate Portland, Wholesome. Make sure I get it right. Amrise. And their long-standing partnership with this community. And as the mayors, even though you are here as citizens, I will still refer to you as the mayors. Both commented, you know, this, 100 years of history and hopefully another 100 more. We appreciate the partnership with the community, the jobs. The only thing that probably is really competitive on the same scale with this community as far as employment and impact on the community would be the prison system. And they're part of this community for such a long time, and providing jobs, providing economic wealth to the people of Fremont County. We really appreciate that. And their long-standing involvement in the community is, also part of that consideration with, we've talked about that amongst ourselves with the involvement with things like 4-H, livestock sales, and other aspects of the community around Fremont. And an encouraging move, even though I like to kid him, we do appreciate the bringing on of Justin over there, and his long-standing part of this community. And I can't not mention him since he's in the room, my former colleague and friend, Bob Gardner, back here as well, Senator Gardner. So I truly appreciate, having those familiar faces as well that we get to work with and deal with. So I think with all that being said, I think it would be appropriate for us to entertain a motion.
I had a motion for you.
You look like you have something to say.
No, just want to make sure the names are.
I know.
Just listening.
He's watching you like a hawk over
motion for you.
All right. Commissioner McFall.
So I would move to approve CUP 24-001 for Red Creek Quarry, which is an Amrise/Wholesome seeking this conditional permit. Does that work?
Amrise Cement, Inc., also known as Wholesome US.
Amrise Cement, Inc., also known as Wholesome US. The operation will be a limestone quarry that will be encompass 1492 acres, right? 1,492 acres. It just didn't look right, including the material transport and access corridor, which is an MTAC between Red Creek Quarry location and the cement plant. Estimated life is 100 years. With this approval, for life of use of the mine, with a waiver of landscaping and encouragement that they continue with the wildlife commitment concerns. That's it.
We covered? Then I second it.
Got a cramp.
Any further discussion? Hearing none. Roll call.
Commissioner McFall?
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham?
Aye.
Motion carries.
And just like that. And that brings us to the end of our agenda today. And with that, we are adjourned.
Good luck, guys.